Hello, everyone. This is Zami Eccles-Irwin from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the Assistant Director of the Austin After Dark Film Festival. Right now, we are gearing up for our summer 2023 screening, which is going to take place on August 6th at the Austin Film Society Cinema. And today, we are talking with one of our participating filmmakers. Tim Sanderson is the director of Superfan. Tim, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
No problem. Glad to be here.
So Superfan, it's so funny, and it goes in all these unexpected directions. I want to know what inspired you to make this film.
Um, I have a lot of like weird friends. I guess
Okay.
that's like my usual answer because like I had one friend in particular who wasn't turns out was not good for the role, but uh was the kind of person that would like if he met a superhero that like things like that would probably go down. Like so yeah, and just like me and my friends, we have a kind of a twisted sense of humor. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you kind of have that rapport with the people that you know, and you have that sense of humor.
Yeah.
How did you go about casting and developing this project?
Well, this is probably the easiest thing that I've ever cast in my life because
Okay.
uh like I've done casting before for other films and in the past and you know I've gone through that whole process, but for this one it was like for one thing it was like a really small budget
Okay.
and it was like I didn't even intend on filming it sending it to film festivals. I was doing it just for fun.
Okay. Yeah.
And so like that's the reason why the budget was so low. And so I have a friend of mine named Avery Moore who's in the film who I've known for like I don't know like 15 years something like that. I knew her when she lived in San Antonio, and she was a big comic down there, and now she's a big comic in Austin.
Okay.
And and so she has a really good sense of comedic timing just in general. Luckily, she has also acted before and whatever. And I was on such a good rapport with her, and I knew that she could do the role. I asked her. I didn't even get to finish asking. I was basically mentioning that I had a film project, and I didn't even finish what I was saying. And she was like, "Yes, I'll do it."
That's
And
incredible.
and then I asked her. I was like, "Look, I don't, I just want to get this done as soon as possible. So can you tell me like can you give me a list of people that you've worked with before either on stage with sketches or preferably in short films or whatever that you have chemistry with?" And then she gave me a list of people, and then I looked at all of them, and then I basically picked Hunter, who was like had the best look for the role.
Okay. Yeah.
So and then everybody else was like bit parts. It was like the bank robbers are my producer and my sound guy.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. For
I love
example.
that. Well, I like it when a collaborative effort just kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
And so okay, Avery Moore played Andy,
Hmm.
and then Hunter played Mighty Man. And he's got that perfect Clark Kent look.
Yeah.
Um, how was so? And you said Avery is a comedian, stand-up comedian, right?
Mhm.
So what was it like developing that character? How much was you? How much was her? And did it take any back and forth to get that character right?
Well, I mean, like me and Avery have a pretty good line of communication. Usually, when
Okay.
I start saying something, like she kind of knows where I'm headed a lot because we've known each other for so long. And when she was asking me, like for one thing, what her look would be and whatever, I basically told her Fisher King.
Okay.
So, which I don't know if you've seen or seen the trailers for or whatever, but Robin Williams and the Fisher King was kind of the look that I was going for.
Totally.
And I think we did like the low budget version of that. So, but yeah, she's really good with like adaptation and improvisation if needed, or just going off script. So, I mean, like she's really good in all those areas. I've worked with people that aren't as good with that, and I've worked with people that just or only on the script. I've had people that like detour a little too much, and
Okay.
so in which case they don't know how the edit's going to be or whatever, and so they
Right.
don't realize by doing something that'll mess something up later, and so whatever. But Avery's always been a joy to work with in that sense. So, but yeah,
That's awesome. Well, one thing I want to talk about is that. So you said that this is, it's low budget. You just want to make this. You kind of made it real quick. You didn't have the intention to necessarily send it to film festivals either. And of course, there's some, I think, low budget stuff like the Superman costume with the printout Mighty Man logo, which I think adds to the humor. But the final product, it's so funny, and the chemistry between the actors is so great, and I love what they end up doing together. The Mighty Man and Andy. I don't want to spoil it. rolling laughing. It was so funny. I wonder if you have any insights, either for your own filmmaking practice or for others out there. What is that balance? If you don't have a budget, you don't feel confident that this could be a festival thing, but then you watch it and the script's good and the acting's good. Well, what's it like to sort of parlay with those two, boundaries?
Well, I mean, the phrase that I always think of, this is going to sound stupid. Have you ever seen Usual Suspects?
Yes.
So there's this one part where Kevin Spacey's talking about how he's narrating or whatever. He's talking about how Kaiser Sose took power.
Hmm.
And there's a phrase that he says that I kind of adapted, which he says that he realized in order to be a good leader or something like that, or to be whatever the heck it was.
Right.
I changed that basically to be a good filmmaker. And it's like, to be a good filmmaker, I realized you didn't need guns or money or even numbers. You just needed the will to do what the other guy wouldn't.
Okay.
And so I remember reading in Robert Rodriguez's book way back when, like the Rebel Without a Crew,
Right.
like he brought up that thing about, like, when you have no money, what else can you do? And he talked about, like, basically going for the jugular, do something that the studios wouldn't necessarily take a risk on,
Right.
That can get dangerous, obviously, if you go too far, if you go into like racism or anything like that,
Right.
you know
Right.
what I
Right.
mean? But yeah, I mean, like, I mean, the thing is like, if you have a good project, and if the people that you're working with believe in it, then that makes a huge difference. And also the people that you work with just in general, because I mean, it wasn't just me. I mean, I had the core script and everything, but like both Avery and Hunter improv lines here and there, and I couldn't have done, this would have been just radically different and worse if my friend Darren didn't do all the effects for me.
Okay.
So, and we go back since we were 12 years old making films. So like, and I could have done the effects. It just would have been a lot worse. So
Yeah, I wanted to ask about those effects because they add a lot to the humor,
yeah,
and it's kind of it's like it's funny to see something where it's like, yeah, these are it's going to be purely rooted in low budget, real world space, and then it gets to the bullet, and you see his reflection on it. And it's like, whoa, okay, what? So what was that like working? Did you have the effects kind of in mind the whole time that you wanted to do?
yeah. I
Okay,
mean, I think you have to. I mean,
right,
like, you
go
have to
super gross.
know. Yeah, as far as, because I've worked on sets before where people don't understand how special effects work, and then it ends up in post, it ends up being hell. And
Okay,
then
so you have to
I
plan
even
for it.
apologized to Darren, basically because of my green screen could have been a lot better. And
Ah,
I knew it when I shot it, just that we were in a hurry. And
right.
so there's folds in it and stuff that had to be cropped out and whatever. So like, but yeah, the bullet, that was a surprise to me, because I basically said, like, yeah, I want the bullet to come out, I want it to go out of focus here, and I want a smoke effect, and blah
Right.
blah 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 blah. The reflection was bonus. When I got the first thing back, I had no idea he was going to put the reflection in there.
That's
And the
awesome.
entire shot actually had two reflections. It had one with her face, and then for the reverse angle, no, one with his face. And on the reverse angle, when the bullet's going away, it had her face on the back
Oh,
of it.
that's awesome.
And it worked. But the thing was, using that whole thing, it ended up dragging out way too
Right.
long. So I had to cut that off. But yeah, that's not as crazy. I mean, it involves time, but it's like, it's not as crazy as it sounds, because it's not even CG. It's just a circle texture or whatever,
Okay.
and then
Right.
spin it, and then whatever. So, and then it's just like layers and layers and layers. I don't know how familiar you are with After Effects or Premiere or whatever, but yeah, basically the mantra for like the whole, this goes for so many films, but like, I've always heard, you can make it cheap, you can make it good, or you can make it fast. You can have two out of the three, but you can't have all three. And so we wanted to have, good and cheap, but
Okay.
fast was not part of it. So post took a long time.
A long time.
So yeah.
I love that. Cheap, good, or fast. Pick two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna print T-shirts, man.
I did not
But
invent that phrase. I'm not going to take credit for it, but
well, okay, this is great. And I want to ask you this. So Austin After Dark Film Festival is not genre specific, but it's theme specific. Dark theme in media, and I've been interviewing a lot of people with very different interpretations of darkness. And so you have a very, I think, lighthearted, ultimately. Well, I guess some of the subject
in a way.
matters, but
Yeah.
it's got a light bent. It's not pessimistic.
Yeah.
It's comedy, but it goes into dark subject matter, and it's overall kind of dark when you regard the ending. So I
Yeah.
want to
It's
know, what
pretty
does that
sad.
dark theme mean to you? Is it valuable? Is it important to you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, when it comes to comedies, like, and this is what I was saying before about going for the jugular. A lot of times I felt that some of the funniest stuff can be the most taboo
Okay,
or the most dark. Like,
right,
actually, I think like comedies are this is nothing new, but it's like that comedy and tragedy go way, way back,
right.
So I think that dark comedy has always been a natural fit between dark themes and things that make you laugh. Like those have always meshed well together.
Okay,
And I've some of my favorite, comedies can be darker. Some of my favorite comedic moments or whatever. Or sometimes there's things that we laugh at, and then when we go back and we look at them, they're like, actually, that's really fucked up that I laughed at that,
right.
So,
I
um, oh yeah, I don't know if I can curse or anything. I should have asked
think
that
it's
before.
fine.
All right,
Well,
cool. So,
YouTube will decide. But
okay,
well, so I kind of want to know the ending. I don't want to give it away, but there's an ending, a realization, and for me, it was funny after a moment, but at first it was pure dejection. And I want to know if you had a specific intent for that. Did you want to reel in the humor and say, "Oh my God, let's throw something down," or was that just another gag in your mind?
well, no, I mean, it wasn't just another guy because in the sense of like, yeah, it was supposed to get a laugh, but it was also supposed to like tie everything together and like I've always been both in comedies and in every other genre. I've always been a fan of gray endings. So
Okay,
like endings that are not good or bad, they're kind of like a mesh of the two.
right,
Because like some fucking without getting in the end, it's like there's a fucked up thing that happens at the
right,
end, but then there's like this good side. There's a
right.
silver lining to it.
She ends up with a smile. Something
Yeah.
happened. Yeah,
So, and it's still, and if you follow it through, it's still fucked up.
right.
So it's like what's probably going to happen after
Yeah.
still has some darkness to it, yet at the same time still has a good side to it. So yeah, I mean, it's where I remember like the ending of Joe versus the volcano is kind of like that. At first you're like, oh, it's a happy ending, and then if you really think about what's going on in that ending, it's actually really messed up. But yeah,
Well, I love that, and I think it lends one of the things that lends this short with so much quality. And I want to know, what did you learn from this process? Obviously, you've made other stuff. What did you
yeah.
take away? What new insights did you learn about the craft?
I don't know if this exactly like the biggest thing that comes to mind is if you're working with a drone and you see the low battery symbol come up, you need to bring it back as soon as possible.
Okay. Did we have a
Because
drone drop out of the sky? Oh,
in
geez.
downtown Austin, and
Oh my
like
gosh.
yeah, it was my friend Darren's drone, and then I said, shouldn't we bring it back? And he was like, oh no, it's like this. I probably get another little 10 minutes on this or whatever. And then it crapped out on us and started going down. And then we lost video feed. And then I'm running for it, trying to see where it's going. And then I lose sight of it. And then we looked for it for, I don't know, however many hours. I climbed a bunch of buildings in Austin, got on the
Oh,
roof and stuff. We never found it.
oh
And so
no.
we had to get another drone and shoot all that footage again. But yeah,
Oh man, wow.
yeah.
Well,
So that
that's
was,
fantastic, practical, actionable advice.
yeah.
Kind of thing.
Like trust low battery symbols,
Right,
like trust like yeah. I remember like just in general, like if you cut too many corners, then you'll end up paying more money or having more problems or whatever. When
right,
you're like, it's weird how people try and save money or save time or whatever, and whatever they're doing cost them more time or more, because
right.
you just need a little bit of bad luck and then everything goes to crap. So
That's
yeah.
a good point. It's funny how you can prepare so much for a shoot and then be on set, and then just that weird laziness sets in. You're like, "Yeah, low battery on the labs. Does it can we just fix it in post? Can we just ADR?" But there's
Yeah.
everyone's got weird ideas. If you did everything in post, it's just a CG movie, which
Yeah.
exists, but
Which
different.
exists. I think that's how Phantom Menace got made, but
Right.
yeah. So
Well, Tim, what's next for you? Can we see some more shorts in the future? Do you have anything in the works right
yeah.
now?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that this film was actually a warm up for another short film that I want to
Okay.
do later that actually has a much bigger budget. But like, because I'd been working with my friends and stuff before this for a while. We have like shoot music videos and do whatever, but I haven't actually been in the director's chair in like a while, like almost 10
Okay.
years. It's been a while. So I
Okay.
wanted to get back into it. And there's a short that I've always wanted to do that I wrote years ago. It's a time travel short without any time travel in it.
Oh,
If that makes
interesting.
any sense. The main guy is very, he's brave, he's hopeful, he's a good guy, but he's also kind of dumb and gullible, and he finds what he thinks is a time machine, but it's a broken popcorn maker.
Nice.
And there's a bunch of coincidences that make him seem like that from his
Okay.
point of view he's going back in time, and it's shot and edited like a time travel movie with that structure, but
Right.
it's like it, yeah, but there's no time travel in it at all. It just has the appearance of it. So
I love that. And are you thinking of that as a short?
yeah,
Okay.
so
Well,
it's going to be a little bit longer than Superfan is. Probably going
okay.
to be closer to 15 right now. I want to get the script shorter if I can. And I said the budget's going to be way higher. For one thing, I'm going to we shot Superfan like a Panasonic GH4 like
Okay.
DSLR, and the next one I want to shoot, buddy of mine has a Red camera, and so
Oh,
when you start
nice.
shooting at that level, you have to, everything else has to step up with it, and
Right.
and then if especially if I can pay people what they're worth, which is what I want to do,
Right.
then once you start paying people what they're worth, and then everybody in the crew needs to get paid more when everything just
Okay.
inflates the budget. And so yeah,
Got to move everything up
yeah.
equally. Totally. Well, that sounds great. I'm very excited to see that.
So
I'll be following along with that progress. Is there anything else you'd like to add about Superfan?
I don't even know where to go. I don't know. I hope people see. I mean, I hope people like it. I'm not going to say what in the scene, but I mean, I'm just going to say I had people that got kind of offended at the scene with the cat.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I was thinking that's gonna be the stuff that
yeah,
gets people, but
but yeah, I
it's just
completely
a cat.
neglected to put in no animals were harmed in the making of
Right.
this. I completely forgot to put that in the credits, and I
No
completely
cat
regret
was
that.
actually booted to the
Yeah,
moon.
that's my cat actually.
Oh,
So yeah, so
great acting.
he's fine. He's actually sitting right next to me. But yeah,
Oh, nice.
so,
Well, Tim, I think people are gonna love it, and it's so funny, and it's kind of sweet. It has a heart to it somehow, and I think people are gonna pull a lot out of it, and they're gonna love it at the Austin After Dark Film Festival on August 6th. Thank
that's
you so
all.
much, and I cannot wait to see more from you.
All right, thank you.
Take care, man.
You too.
Bye.